Hello and welcome back to SMX Next. I'm Lauren Donovan and I have the pleasure of introducing our next speaker. But first, let's go over a few housekeeping items. If you're having any technical issues or if you have a question for our speaker, use the Q&A box and we'll respond right away. Be sure to check out the additional resources from today's speaker, including a PDF version of this slide deck in the resource section below. This session will be available for viewing on demand within approximately 30 minutes. You'll find it back in the Engagement Hub when it's ready to be replayed. Now, allow me to introduce our expert speaker. Wesley MacLaggan, head of marketing at Marin Software, has spent the last 8 years helping to build the company into the leading digital advertising platform focused on search, social, and display. Today, he'll be discussing why smart bidding isn't necessarily the smart choice. Take it away, Wesley.
Thanks. Welcome, everyone, today. As Lauren said, my name is Wes MacLaggan, and I lead marketing at Marin Software. We've helped our clients manage over $40 billion in digital spend across search, social, and e-commerce. And I want to help today walk you through why we think that Google's smart bidding might not be the right choice for you, especially in turbulent, unpredictable times like the ones we're facing today. So let's get started. Bidding and optimization strategies, I've been in the paid search world for a long time, and bidding and optimization strategies have come a long way since the early days. Today, we live in a world where machine learning is doing some pretty amazing things with all the signals that are available. Of course, Google Smart Bidding is a compelling offering, and Google's got a team of world-class developers who are using some of the most advanced machine learning techniques out there to deliver results. They have a range of signals that are exclusively available to Google and to smart bidding, such as what browser the user is on, what the search query is that they've seen. And they can even take account for the user's historical behavior and their propensity to buy when they're making individual impression level bid decisions. But that doesn't mean that smart bidding is the only way to go or that it doesn't have its drawbacks. Some industry publications have highlighted some of these drawbacks in articles that you can find online if you search for them. But to highlight a couple, The Drum published an article that does a great job reminding us that Google doesn't really know your business. It doesn't own all of your data, and it can't automatically change bids based on business-specific conversion factors. Its broad data doesn't reflect your target audience, which are unique from business to business. And in another article published in Search Engine Land, they highlight that the KPIs that you can work with are also limited. Incorporating things like customer lifetime value can be incredibly impactful in your search marketing campaigns. These enable marketers to make bigger investments on higher value customers or on new customers. But unfortunately, smart bidding with its focus on a return on ad spend or ROAS efficiency target means that customer lifetime value can't be directly applied. Smart bidding can really only reach the next level of maturity when it starts to work with conversion data that differentiates between the first transaction of a customer and their repeat purchases. Search Engine Journal, lastly, doesn't recommend smart bidding to advertisers who need transparency and control. With no transparency into the calculated bid, smart bidding is essentially a black box. And to add to the articles before about Google not knowing your business, without the ability to apply what we call custom modifiers, you lose control and you can't take more sophisticated actions based on contextual forces that are specific to your business. So yeah, smart bidding is great, but there are ways that we think it can be improved. And today's webinar is to give you some specific recommendations for how to do that. So I want to talk about 3 things on how you can improve smart bidding today that can really drive better performance for your programs. The first is about flexibility and control, and why in unprecedented times, you need to have something that's better than a black box. The second is external signals. That first-party signals or your data is one of the biggest competitive differentiators that you've got. And then third, I want to highlight the importance of transparency and publisher independence when making your optimization and budget allocation decisions. So let's dive into the first now, flexibility and control. So we're obviously living in crazy times right now with everything going on with COVID. And one of the things that I wanted to do is understand how user behavior has changed since the beginning of the COVID panic. And there's a lot of things that you see in terms of how different industries are performing. But one crazy stat that kind of jumped out on me was this graph here. This is a chart of the Google Trend search for, or Google Trend for the search flights to Hawaii. And you see this huge spike right in around March 14th or 15th, which is just about when lockdown was about to go in place in the first places in the US. And so apparently everybody's initial reaction to all of this was, hey, maybe now's a good time to go to Hawaii. This is, kind of silly example, but the point here is that sometimes crazy things happen and you need the control to deal with those situations. So whether it's your website going down and you can't track conversions, or you have a crazy spike because of, you get mentioned by some influencer on Instagram and the traffic and the conversion rates go through the roof, you need to be able to take control of those special situations and those special data. If you look at how do I exclude certain dates on Google, there really isn't anything available. If you're using smart campaigns, which are pretty limited in terms of the controls that you have, they actually do apparently give you the ability to exclude certain dates from the bidding calculations. But I wasn't able to find that in my account, so I don't have a screenshot for you. I did find this article that says you can manually make a request of your Google rep to exclude some dates. So if you call 1-866-Google and ask for dates to be excluded, that's maybe one solution. This was something that I could find additional official documentation on. So of course, buyer beware on that recommendation. But what we think is the better approach is to layer on technology that can help to automatically exclude certain dates from your bidding calculations to mitigate the effect of any kind of outlier situations. And of course, this is something that a tool like Marin can help you with. The second area I want to focus today is on external signals and how you can use those in your optimization. Every business, regardless of your vertical, has things that are going to affect the performance of your auction that smart bidding just can't see. And as I said at the beginning, leveraging your first-party data about what's going on with your business is the single biggest thing that you can do to improve the performance of your campaigns. So let's walk through a specific example. Now, to set the scene here, let's talk about an example for a car rental company. Now, of course, the travel industry is in a world of hurt right now, but I love travel, and I wanted to use this example because I've got my fingers crossed that we're going to get a vaccine and we're going to get back on track, and there's going to be a lot of pent-up demand. So imagine a world where the car rental company is in business again and has low inventory in a certain location. Well, it doesn't make sense to be paying for traffic on keywords related to that location because those users aren't likely to convert when there's nothing to buy. So what you're going to want to do is bid down on the campaigns associated with that location. Similarly, if you've got the reverse situation, if you're way over capacity, it's probably worth bidding up. And again, smart bidding doesn't know what's going on with your individual locations. You need to calculate the level of boost and apply it to the right campaigns and make adjustments on a daily or weekly basis. And changing your smart bidding targets, which would be one approach to do this, just wouldn't be something that's feasible or scalable. And of course, this concept applies to much more than just inventory. Whether television-based marketing that's going to affect the volume and conversion rates on your site are examples, but there's no shortage of additional opportunities. Each business has different factors that these publishers just don't know about: ratings, new product launches, media coverage, social media buzz. It's important to find a way to easily integrate all these external signals so that your optimization tools predict conversion rate and conversion rate value changes rather than just reacting to it. And Google does have a tool that can help you to do some of this, and it's called Google Ads scripts. Many of you are probably familiar with this. You can basically write JavaScript that can make customizations to your campaigns and change targets, pause and resume things. This is great for some, but for many advertisers out there, it's time consuming and complicated. And this is, again, where we think combining the best of Google with a third-party partner, such as Marin, can help you automatically incorporate external signals without having to spend a ton of time programming your own scripts. And I'll walk through an example of how this can work in another area. And that's around your promotional calendar. So your promotional calendar is another great example of where you have data that's just not available to Google. When you have a sale or conversion, a sale event, your conversion rate is going to jump up. And so you want to make sure that you can factor that into your bidding. And what happens is during the sale period, your conversion rate jumps up on your sale days. So in this case, on the 4th and the 5th, those days highlighted in blue, conversion rate immediately starts to jump up because you've got that 30% off deal going. But if your bidding optimization tool is just reacting to data, what you see is the conversion rate takes the bids take a longer time to ramp up. And so you're underbidding in those early days of the sale. And then when the sale's over, your conversion rate drops back down and you're overbidding. And so in order to avoid overbidding and underbidding, you want to proactively set boosts to take advantage of these effects. And unless you have awareness to your conversion rate, to the promotional calendar, you're not going to be able to predict that. It's only going to be able to react. And so, surely Google has a solution for this in place. Well, actually, before I get there, customers who do this can have a really meaningful impact on the performance of their campaign. So Mountain Warehouse is one of our advertisers, and by automatically incorporating their promotional calendar into their bidding algorithm, they were able to see 15% growth in revenue, 13% lift in conversions, while also decreasing their CPA. So really powerful results by switching from being reactive to being proactive. Google has a tool for this called seasonality adjustments. And so if you go into your smart bidding settings and look in advanced controls, you can see the seasonality adjustments. The challenge with this is that you have to manually calculate and input these adjustments. So you say, I want this boost for this date range. And when you've got a program where you've got all kinds of promotions going on, that's something that just really doesn't scale well. What you want and what you need is somebody who can ingest your entire promotional calendar, automatically calculate the impact of the events on your performance, and automatically adjust those boosts during sale periods. And then the last area that I want to talk about is transparency and publisher independence, and why that's so important in today's world when you're thinking about your optimization. So it's important to recognize, of course, that if we zoom out, smart bidding is only going to have a slice of your customer journey. At each stage of the funnel, Google, Facebook, Amazon are as likely to touch your customers as Google are. And when that conversion event happens, they're all going to try and take credit for it. And so having a holistic view of the customer journey and how each of the publishers are relevant in that journey is super important to the foundation for building your optimization and then your budget allocation on top of that. And so we think by working with an independent tool and not relying on a publisher-specific focus like smart bidding, you're starting with a better foundation. And you can build forecasting models to help you allocate your budget across publishers, across channels, across different funnel goals. Smart bidding doesn't have these tools available, but they are available with third-party technology like Marin's Budget Optimizer. With it, you can forecast what you'll get for different levels of spend and automatically reallocate your budgets to different campaigns and to different channels to drive the results that your business is looking for. So to wrap up, we think that smart bidding is great. Before I get there, by applying cross-channel view of the world and switching from being focused specifically on Google, you can have dramatic increase in results. So this is a client of ours, World First, who is a foreign exchange site, and they were able to decrease their CPL, almost double their conversions, by having a better understanding of where each part of the funnel fit together instead of relying just on smart bidding alone. And so how do I make this happen? How do I execute on this strategy? Well, we think that the best approach here is to combine Google's technology with third-party technology. And the way you do that is by combining the eCPC with an independent bidding solution. And so eCPC lets you take advantage of those auction time signals from Google around device, audience, geo, and they can move the bid up and down, but you set your base bids and all the modifiers using external data so that you can take advantage of those strategies that we talked about. The external signals, the transparency and visibility across publishers, as well as the flexibility to respond to outlier data. So this hybrid approach is what we've seen our customers be really successful with, and we can help advertisers continue to outsmart smart bidding. So by working hand in hand with Google and smart bidding using eCPC, we think you get the best of both worlds and can outperform your competitors. With that, I'll wrap up and say thank you for the time. Please check out some of the resources that we've got linked in here to learn more information about how you can get started with these strategies today. Thank you.